Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Supper with the Superintendent at Lakeview Leadership Academy. And before we get started, I'm just going to introduce a few folks who made this thing happen tonight. First of all, Mr. Donovan Botello, who's up there walking on the stage. He did a great job, obviously, getting all this set up, and he's got another event tomorrow, the Fall Festival, which is why it looks so festive in here. So Donovan's been working very hard. And then, of course, let's give him a hand. And then, of course, Mr. Richard Gonzalez, and he is our office assistant in the superintendent's office, and he was instrumental in providing the food you're eating tonight. So that's always important. Let's give him a hand, and also did the RSVPs for tonight. We have with us a few dignitaries. We have the principal of Lakeview Leadership Academy, that's Felicia Limbrick. We have Mr. Jason Olmstead, assistant principal, with us as well. And we have Cindy Gimmel, a teacher, with us tonight. The ASB director, in fact, not just a teacher. We have from the district office and adult ed, Dr. Lorraine Collins. And very happy to have her. And so now I'm going to turn it over to the man of the hour, and he's going to introduce our district cabinet, and that is our superintendent, Dr. Ron Williams.
I want to thank all of you for coming out, and then also, where's Donovan at? Oh, he went out the door. You know, this is really marvelous the way that he set this up here. And we want to thank all of you for coming out. I want to see if I can get this right here. Also, I've got Dr. Hawkins, which is down here on the end, and Dr. Yee, who's our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, and Dr. Rubakaba, who's our Assistant Superintendent of HR. I'll tell you, this is really great. And like I said, I cannot say how much we sincerely appreciate it. You know, as I was looking at it as we talk, oops.
You want that?
Yes.
Or I can do it, or you can do it.
Okay. Yeah, we talk about how we can redefine, redesign, and reimagine our education. That was our theme last year. And then this year we added to it to redesign, re-engage, because we knew that our students coming back was going to be a challenge, as well as our staff as well. And so this year we've been spending a lot of time on our re-engagement activities. When it comes to COVID-19, which it's been a challenge for all of us, we've been looking at our planning, our personal protective equipment, our testing, technology, learning, and teaching, and that's been our focus this year. We're looking at our reopening plan, our testing protocols, our technology, our virtual and distance learning, our synchronous and our asynchronous learning, as well as our in-person learning. Who we are VVUHSD. And so that's our motto that we've utilized, and so we're still focusing on that. Also, our educational master plan has been the key of what we've been focusing our efforts at. We've been looking at our strategic plan, as well as our general plans, our LCAP plans, our operational plans for continuous improvement. And these plans all are aligned together. Like I mentioned earlier, our educational master plan is our key to our blueprint to our success. If you have not taken a look at it, please go on our website and take a look at our educational master plan. We're launching some programs this year. We're launching our Aviation Academy. Our Aviation Academy is being launched at Victor High School. We're launching our Legal Academy at UP. We're launching our Medical Pathway at Victor. And we're also launching our middle college program here. So for those students that are here, your principal will probably talk a little bit about it this afternoon, but you guys should be very, very proud of it. And with the Aviation Academy that's being launched from Victor High School, you know, we sat down and looked at our aviation program. Atalanto has an aviation program. But when we looked at the aviation programs that we thought was ready to launch, we felt that Victor High School would be an excellent choice. Our legal pathway, we're launching our legal pathway from UP. We have lawyers that's coming in that's going to be working with those students that should be making that very good as well. And our medical pathway from Victor High School as well, because they have an excellent medical pathway at Victor High School. It's been operational for an extended period of time, and we felt that they were definitely prepared to do that. As well as our middle college here. And for the students here, you know, the intent is for students here starting in grade 9 through 12 to be able to get at least a number of their college courses completed before they finish out their school, their educational experience here. You know, some of the other accomplishments that we have the, like I mentioned, the middle college. The academic decathlon was an excellent project for us this past year. We did the science fair, history day, robotics, U.S. News and Report. We have a number of our schools district-wide that were recognized for that. Other awards, we had the honor roll schools, the administrator of the year, and in fact, these two gentlemen here were administrators of the year this past year, as well as your principal as well. So it's great to have them. We have Skills USA. Your students here did extremely well in Skills USA, PBIS Award, as well as the Golden Bell Awards. And the Golden Bell specifically, we've had those for the last 3 years. Social emotional support, you know, we are adding additional counselors this year. We're also adding intervention teachers. We're adding, well, we had a director of student services. That person has left, but we've replaced that person with an outstanding individual. We have counselors that we've added. And this year we're adding our mental health clinicians. With that, you want to go ahead?
Sure, I can jump in there a little bit. My name is Chris Riley. I'm the Public Engagement Information Manager. And thank you, Dr. Williams. Let's give him a hand. And, you know, we do these things 100% virtually, or at least that's what we were doing during COVID. And now that we are back at school, we're doing these events in person and live streaming them. So this is the third time that we've done a combined live stream and in-person event. And also I just want to mention our district website, which is a great tool to get, you know, all kinds of information about the district, but particularly as it relates to COVID-19 and our latest policies and procedures related to that. So now we're going to hear from our assistant superintendents. And the first up is going to be our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, and that is Dr. Antoine Hawkins.
Okay, there we go. Now I have some boom in my voice, right? First of all, good evening to each and every one of you who are out this evening. I will get through this presentation as quickly as possible. So part of my role and responsibility is to support the operations of the district, whether it is through the medium of transportation, food services, fiscal oversight to ensure that we have the resources aligned to our LCAP to make sure that we're spending our dollars wisely for our students, just a plethora of things. I'm going to first of all hit in the area of child nutrition services. And we want you to know as our community that the district participates in the community eligibility program where all of our students eat for free. And that is a phenomenal thing for us. We're also providing supper programs for students as well to ensure that our students have good, nutritious meals. Some of the service impacts that we've had because of COVID-19, if you've been following the news, you know that there are a lot of ships, as an example, sitting off the harbor in Long Beach and in San Pedro. And not only are there impacts there, but there are also impacts when it comes to delivery of goods and services. So one of the challenges that the Child Nutrition Services has had is receiving commodities. But because of our Director of Child Nutrition Services, Mr. Hill, we've mitigated that. If we have to make a run to Costco to buy in bulk, we would do that to make sure that our children eat. But we know that some children have shared with their parents that the meals are not as robust as they've been in times past. But as commodities are being delivered more and opening up, we'll have some changes with that. And very soon, Mr. Hill will be stopping by some school sites, and some of our maybe ASB students, I see these signs over here, and other students will be able to do some tasting and sampling. So we'll be able to have some different meals allocated. ABSB 167 made significant changes to how the state was anticipating allocating $150 million in state resources when it came to the upgrades of child nutrition services facilities. So, you know, we have the cafeterias where food is prepared. In some of our sites, for instance, our flagship high school, you know, some other schools may get upset, but the longest standing high school in High Desert is Victor Valley, right? Over 100 years old. So, you know, their kitchen may be a little older, but we're anticipating to receiving some money to be able to make some type of measurable upgrades to that. We're supposed to receive a $25,000 base grant for kitchen infrastructure, and we have not received that yet, but hopefully the state will follow through with that. So just want to share with you as a community that we're looking forward to making sure that wherever our facilities are at, that they're pristine and that we're providing to students what is needed. Okay, next. Okay, cleaning protocol. Now, this is always a hot topic for parents and for the community, particularly in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I know Dr. Rubalcaba is going to come a little bit later regarding some of the stuff that we've bought and all of that type of good stuff. But when it comes to cleaning protocols, we just want you to know, I'm just going to encapsulate it. It's very important for us to maintain a safe, clean, and effective environment for our students, primarily, and also for our staff. Whenever there is a COVID-19 case or positive within our facilities, we pivot to robust deep cleaning. The district, under the guidance of our superintendent, we also purchased some of those airplane type electrostatic sprayers where we're able to use those solutions. We have a lot of hand wipes and all of that. So if we ever have a positive case, our maintenance staff really moves towards ensuring that the room is sanitized. It's the necessary cleaning goes on so that our students can come back to a safe environment. We also have a robust daily cleaning schedule and enhanced cleaning and disinfection of all high touch areas. And again, the last bullet, I've already talked about that a little bit. Okay, I think this is the next one. I think this is my last slide. So when it comes to technology, when the pandemic first started, all school districts in the system, state of California, but, you know, nationwide, there was a crunch when it comes to a supply crunch when it comes to Chromebooks and other laptops because students were learning in an online medium, right? So our district, we have a one-to-one deployment of Chromebook devices and the procurement of additional devices as needed. We also pivoted to getting a contract with Kajit so that we could push out into the community. We had Wi-Fi accessibility at 11 areas identified in the district for students to come and to be able to continue their coursework. We still have those Wi-Fi hotspots. We always look at educational equity. So parents out there, if you don't have Wi-Fi at home, or, you know, there are some challenges with that, we do have a limited supply of Wi-Fi hotspots where we can assign those out as well, because we don't want students to be missing their instructional piece, albeit they've come back on campus. Finally, we supported students with the free mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. We had sufficient licenses available for Excelis online curriculum, Canvas licensing, and finally, the district purchased the Google Classroom Enhanced platform. So that's Google to a next level. so that we can make sure that our students and our teachers have the tools that they need to be successful. And we also have another program implemented called Gaggle. And we also look at making sure that there's safety for students when they are surfing the internet or online, or they're, pulling data for their coursework. And I think that's it. Is that it?
That's it. So next up, we have our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, and that is Dr. Ramiro Rubalcaba.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to say what a welcoming environment. Principal Limbrick, Jason, Mr. Olmsted, you guys have done together a fabulous job in creating such a positive, welcoming environment. So thank you for doing that. And I think all of that plays into our response because of the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, life changed for everyone from one day to the next. Everybody remembers that Friday the 13th, right? And we all shifted to an online platform. Life was different. Instead of connecting with people, we were told, stay 6 feet apart, wearing these masks. And we continue to do those things. And there's a lot that our district has done. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we've done and also about what we continue to do. But you can see in this slide here, we collaborated with the Department of Public Health, with the California Department of Education, with all the superintendents. Dr. Williams was in many meetings with superintendents, not only in our county, across the state when he was AXA president. He sat on the committee for the vaccine, I believe it was. And so we did a lot of connecting to make sure that we did everything to the best of our ability to keep you safe, to keep our students, families, and staff safe. And generally speaking, we did a fabulous job because everybody contributed with covering is caring, and VVUHSD cares. And that meant that we secured, everything from PPE to the wipes, the bucket wipes that you see on these tables, the holders for them, student desk shields, shields for our employees, walk-up thermometers, hand sanitizing stations. Now we've secured these HEPA air filters so that every teacher, every office can have an air filter in their classroom. As the weather gets colder, instead of opening because it gets cold, you're going to have this filtration available to you. We're looking at water fountains, touchless water fountains, everything that you can think of. We have secured it because we care. So we implement all these safety protocols to keep you safe. But then on top of that, there's a couple other things that the district did that were a little different, a little new, because life was different. We did everything from transportation. Instead of driving buses, with routes, because there were no students, they drove meals to bus stops to make sure that our students continued to eat. Even when they couldn't come to us, we went to them. When this first started, there was concern about some students didn't have access to the internet, right? Some of our community does not have access to the internet, and that digital divide. And you'll see this picture here, our superintendent and our executive cabinet, we went to them. We went to the homes of our seniors first to offer Chromebooks, Wi-Fi hotspots, no excuses. Learning was going to continue no matter what. So that was super awesome. We put on the school buses these Wi-Fi routers so that the internet went, and these buses were parked out in the community so that families who lived near the bus had access to the internet in that fashion as well. We had never done that before, but life was different. And we're super proud of those efforts because despite the pandemic and all the challenges that came with it, learning continued. And our principals did a fabulous job of creating these new virtual ways of connecting students to each other, and had these like drive-through movie nights, had these like Halloween trunk or treat events where people were at a distance but still connecting with each other. And we had these learning pods at each of our schools so that some of our neediest students were able to come on campus in a safe fashion. But these are some of the things that we did. And as Dr. Williams described, not only did we worry about the physical safety, meals, access to technology, but then we also added a lot more staff to be able to meet the social, emotional, mental health needs of our students, such as the social workers, the mental health clinicians. We have currently hired 5. We're looking at hopefully hiring 3 more so that there's 1 at each school site. We hired more academic counselors to support. We hired a few additional campus security in order to help keep with some of the demands of the behaviors that came. We're hiring more assistant principals. Actually, Lakeview is going to benefit and is going to have another assistant principal starting right after the Thanksgiving break. An OCI teacher to help with that process with discipline. So we're doing everything we possibly can to meet the physical safety, but also the mental, social, emotional well-being of our students. And that's because VVU HSD cares. And I'll turn it back to Chris.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rubalcaba. And and now, last but not least, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Dr. Ramoni Yee.
I think we need to have another round of applause for Dr. Rubalcaba. What do you think? There you go. I love it. You know, when you're family, you can do things like that with each other. Seriously, you're so funny. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Just a great opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about what we've done and what we will continue to do to really support our students here in VVU HSD. So just a slide or two, I think. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I know that Dr. Hawkins talked about kind of all the Chromebooks and things like that. So in Ed Services, we really oversee all the education of our students. So really our focus is really taking care of the whole child. That means not only their academic needs, but also their mental health needs as well. So we have two motto in our division, which is it's all about student learning and it's all about student well-being. Similarly, it's also about staff's learning and staff's well-being as well. So a lot of the things that we saw actually during distance learning is actually being implemented in the classroom as we speak. And I think right now it's kind of like teachers are kind of getting used to kind of like having students back and having to almost relearn what it is like to have students, interact with students, collaborate with students. And what we're seeing sometimes is we are still seeing some teachers that are actually using Google Classroom and being able to use their technology and so forth. So it's great. It is great. We're seeing a mixture of a hybrid of that. So just a little bit about kind of some of the purchases within our Chromebooks. These were some pictures that I took when I went to the classroom to visit at the beginning of the school year. And then what we do also in Ed Services is we look at a lot of data. Actually, our Q1 data came in and we've been able to share that with not only principals, but all managers in our district. And really looking at what does the data tell us how our kids are doing. So not only our academic data, but also our panoramic culture and climate data. How are kids feeling? Do they feel safe? Do they feel connected? Do they feel adults care about them? So those are the kinds of things that right now principals are kind of talking with their staff about and really following something that we call a cycle of inquiry, which is really a continuous improvement framework to really look at the data, let it inform our decision and our plans for next step. We also this year decided that within the Ed Services Division 2, we have to kind of get those resources out to in the hands of our teachers. So that SEL playbook was created this year. These are resources. We went ahead and we didn't recreate or anything. We grabbed what we could, what we found, what research shows, created a playbook so that we can go ahead and share it with our sites so they can go ahead and support our students. What I've noticed in walking classrooms too is I love it when I see teachers that are like, okay, guys, how are you feeling today? Like fist, fist over here. Are you like, great, you're a 5, or you're 4, or you're a 3, or 2, or 1? Gives them just a little kind of temperature check of how our kids are doing. So then the teachers can go ahead and check on them if they're feeling like, so-and-so said they don't feel so good today, and maybe send them to a counselor, but at least know right away, or just greeting them at the door, fist bumping them. How are you doing today? Those kinds of check-in are so important to our kids. Additional counselors at each site. I think Dr. Rubalcaba talked about that as well. We're so excited that we get more adults helping our students. So the mental health clinicians that we've hired and will continue to hire are going to really benefit our schools. PD. So in the beginning of the year, we did 2 days of PD before the students came in, and a lot of it was really around social emotional well-being. And we had a lot of different trainings that teachers went to really learn about some ways in which they can go ahead and implement some of the strategies to support our students. Right now, we're currently building capacity of our teachers. But one of the things that we realized too is as much as we want to pull them from classes, our students need them in the classes as well. And we also know too, subs, it's harder to find nowadays. So therefore, we're going to be very, very conscientious as far as what it is that we're going to be providing. We do provide PD during the instructional day where we have to pull some, but we're going to be careful not to pull too many. So some of our PDs are actually done after school or even on Saturdays. So we actually have a support program for our new teachers. They actually have some trainings and some mentorship also that was out of Dr. Rubakava's office. And then also in my division too, they actually have Jody Oliver actually works with them, which is a consultant that we've hired. She meets with them after school. She coaches them in the classroom. She also meets with them on Saturdays too. So there's a lot of really support for our teachers as well. But really the focus is really making sure that we build their capacity so they can even be better for our students in the classroom. We already talked about the mental health clinicians. And then I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about a couple of things that we did in the beginning of the school year. Kids did not return to us in the manner that we would have anticipated if we did not have a pandemic. We as adults need to realize that, and we have to make sure we meet their needs. So one of the things that we did was really push out positive behavior interventions and support, what we call PBIS. We wanted to make sure that in September, let's get some great things out there. Let's recognize kids. Let's do some attendance challenge. Let's do some unity challenges, getting them excited about things like that so that they're focusing on all the positives. And then sometimes not necessarily making some poor decisions that we know some of our kiddos are making, and really just being there to really support their needs. So that is a little bit about Ed Services. I could probably keep going on, but I know Ms. Limbrick, I think you might be on, so I'll give the mic back to Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Dr. Yee. And now your principal, Felicia Limbrick.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I don't know if Donovan is still in here or if he left, but I just want us to give another round of applause to Donovan. I mean, this is amazing. And of course, thank you, Dr. Williams and Cabinet, for being here at Lakeview. It's always an honor to have esteemed guests on our campus, and we're glad you guys are here with us. And last but not least, thank you, families, parents, and students. And Ms. Gimel, I see my only teacher here, but that is my ASB director extraordinaire. So thank you all for being here.
You know, if I may, I forgot because I even got their names so I could give them a shout out, but I'm remiss in not mentioning these two wonderful students who are helping us out, Helen and Susie. Thank you.
Yes, our ASB is second to none. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my assistant principal, Mr. Olmstead. He has been my right arm since day one. And thank you, seriously, thank you for everything that you do. Now, just kind of a quick overview and update on what's going on at LLA. Tomorrow, as I think Dr. Williams mentioned earlier, we have our fall festival, which I hope all of you will plan to attend because these decorations are part of that. We have more in the gym. We have our choir singing. We have our band. We have an art show planned. So we plan to basically showcase LLA tomorrow with a gazillion food trucks, games, and the whole bit. So we want everyone to come out and enjoy Fall Festival with us. We also have a semi-formal dance coming up December 10th for our middle schoolers, which we're pretty excited about. It'll be their first time getting to dress up. Since our high schoolers just had homecoming, we wanted to make sure that our middle school students had the same opportunity. I'm not going to take too much time on the mic, but I did want to share what LLA is doing to enhance and be a part of the social emotional learning that our students and our staff needs. Recently, we had a guest speaker on campus, Eugene Hamilton. He started off with the teachers. He will be here 4 times a year for our teachers and our students. And he worked with our teachers and just kind of sharing his personal story and started to dig a little bit into our need to take care of ourselves, because it's important for us as adults to take care of ourselves before we take care of our students. And that's funny because Dr. Rubicava asked me about that today. He said, "Are you taking care of yourself?" And it's true. We do need to take care of ourselves because it's really hard to take care of other people before we can take care of ourselves before we take care of our students. But what I wanted to share are some of the comments from our students. So he worked with our students. We had 3 assemblies, one for 7th grade, one for 8th grade, and then one for all of high school. Sorry, this mask is not working with a microphone. So I sent out a survey to all the students, and they were able to share what their opinion was of the assembly, and then kind of tell us what they plan to do with. You're going to get me a real mask? Thank you. I'm a proud LSU mom, so I had to wear this. Thank you. All right, thank you, Miss. Because I told you she's ASB Director Extraordinaire. She knows what I need. So this is just some of the comments that the students shared, and they are replying on a Google form that I sent out, and the responses are coming in almost daily as the students are hearing, about that they can reply and give me their feedback. But some of the responses was, we asked, "What do you plan to do with it?" "I will spread what he said to my other family members. I guess keep my goals in reach no matter where I come from. Every choice is mine to make with my life. I will give this message to others to go to college. I'm going to try harder during school to make the right decisions." And one student just wrote, "He was teaching me about life." And that's just a brief screenshot that I was able to take. The list went on and on. And so that's Lakeview's part in trying to help our students understand where they are social, emotionally, and as well as our teachers. And of course, our academics are second to none, but I'll save that for another Leading with Limbrick, which is on November 30th. Just a little plug. And of course, Ms. Ponce, she's always there. So please join us for Leading with Limbrick. And I think I'm done.
Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Yee, if I could ask you a favor to talk a little bit about FEV Tutor for us, and just to introduce our guest that we have tonight, as I take a moment to get her up on the screen, okay?
If you are a parent, please, please, please listen to Jasmine. Jasmine Sendejas is actually our success coach who works with FEV Tutor. It's a free tutoring program that we as a district have purchased, and we've actually had FEV Tutor for many, many years. It was especially helpful during the pandemic because our kids needed tutoring. How else are we going to do it? It's all virtual. So we've seen really, really great results. If students actually receive tutoring, and by I think like their 6th tutoring session, our data showed that their test scores have improved. Their benchmarks that we at the district do every quarter or a semester, whatever the test timeline is, has shown an increase in their improvement. We use something called Star Renaissance in reading and math also to really target students who might need tutoring a little bit more. So Jasmine, of course, she lives in Arizona, so she couldn't be here, else she would. But she did send us a video, I believe, or is she going to do it live?
No, Jasmine is actually here with us. Oh,
Awesome.
we have a cool infinity mirror effect going right there.
Very nice.
Just a moment here.
So Jasmine's going to talk a little bit about FEV Tutor. If you need additional information, I'm here to let you know more about it. But if you haven't taken advantage of it, it's really a great tutoring program. So Jasmine, welcome.
Hello, Jasmine. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah. I'm actually going to turn you up just a little bit, but yeah, go ahead and start talking.
All right, excellent. And I just shared my screen. So as soon as you give me the thumbs up or go ahead that you can see it, I will go ahead and jump right in.
All right, Jasmine, sorry about that. As as Jasmine knows, this is our first time actually talking to someone live remotely. Jasmine is joining us all the way from Arizona, so we were able to, she was very gracious in helping us troubleshoot this today, and we were able to figure this all out. So as you can see, your screen is being shared, so go ahead, Jasmine.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much. And welcome, Victor Valley UHSD families. As mentioned, my name is Jasmine Sendejas, and I am an academic success coach at FEV Tutor. And for the next couple of minutes, we'll quickly learn about our services here and how to get your students started. So here at FEV Tutor, we offer live one-to-one instruction for students in grades 3 through 12. We offer a customized design to meet the needs of all students in the district. We are available 24/7 and we are device agnostic. So as long as students have access to an internet connection, they can actually complete their sessions on any device that they choose. Our goal, of course, is to provide equity to all students and deliver results that truly matter to students, families, and schools. So here at FEV Tutor, your students actually have access to two different types of support. The first is our targeted support. And in this model, students are working through a custom learning plan that is designed around their specific needs. They work with an assigned tutor to help skill build and drive academic achievement. And then our second model of support is our 24/7 homework help and coursework support, which many of you might already be familiar with. So in this model, tutoring is offered in all of the 4 core subjects, math, ELA, science, and social studies, as an optional layer of support to help students through homework assignments and coursework. Students can access this model for support 24/7, as it's mentioned in the name, by requesting an on-demand session through their student dashboard. However, both types of support can be scheduled, and we offer flexible scheduling from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, including weekends. Now, students already have accounts set up through ClassLink. They simply log into their ClassLink Launchpad, find the FEV Tutor app, and click on it. From there, this will take them to their FEV Tutor student dashboard, where they can request to work on demand or schedule a session. Now, this snapshot is just a view from the student dashboard itself. If you haven't seen it, students can view their schedule, request to work on demand, view all of their session history, as we do record every session, and even book a session right from this screen. And then what you're looking at here is a snapshot of the actual student session and our two-way synchronous whiteboard where it says welcome. Students use many features such as the chat box, text-to-speech, one-way audio, language translations, and much more. There's obviously tons of things that students are using in here, but they can also upload assignments, share their screens with their tutors if they do have assignments they're working on their own device that they want to share with their specific tutor. Students can get started really in a multitude of ways. So they can log into their student dashboard through ClassLink, as I mentioned. They can email or call our support team, which I'll give a little bit more information on the next slide, which is our last slide, or they can sign up through one of our scheduling forms. Now, I know this flyer is a little bit small on the screen, but all of the scheduling links are shown here and are listed out as shortened bit.ly links. And all of your school sites should already have this flyer on hand and be able to provide it if you haven't received it already. And then lastly, as an incentive this year, for any student who completes 10 hours of instruction with FEV, they actually qualify to earn a $10 Amazon gift card that we sponsor for them. So it's just a really great way to get students started. And as Dr. Yee mentioned, for students who are completing, 6, 7, 10, even 10 plus sessions, this is really where we're starting to see those academic gains on those next round, the diagnostics that they're taking throughout the school year. All right, and for any additional information and support, you can always reach out to our 24/7 support team at CA, as in California, at fevtutor.com. And then we also have an 855 number listed here that you can speak with one of our engagement specialists. And then these two forms, these contact methods are also great for scheduling as well. You can simply share your student's name, grade, school, and along with their preferred subjects, days, and times for sessions. And then typically you would receive a confirmation email within 48 hours explaining how to get started. And that is all I have for you today. So we definitely look forward to getting your students started, seeing the progress from their first sessions. And of course, if any questions came through as I was speaking, I would be happy to answer any of those at that time, at this time. And if not, you can always reach out to our 24/7 support team.
Okay, thank you so much, Jasmine. Let's give Jasmine a hand.
Thank you.
So Jasmine, a couple things. One was more of a comment than a question, but
Okay.
Jessica said, my daughter uses FEV Tutor for math and it's great. So kudos to you guys.
Great to
And
hear.
then we do have a question from Rosie Torres. And Rosie says, how can I update a FEV Tutor on where my daughter stands on her IEP as I feel it's moving way above her grade level?
This is actually a really great question because sometimes families or teachers feel like students should be working, on something else in their learning path or specific topics or standards. And so I always refer back to that 24/7 support email. If you email ca@fevtutor.com with your daughter's name, school, grade level, with these comments, they are going to look into her specific learning plan and adjust as needed because we can always make those adjustments based upon any student's needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I do want to give anyone here in the audience a chance to ask a question. You do have to come up to the microphone just for the benefit of the folks at home so they can actually hear your question. We have the microphone up here. Don't be shy. You don't have to be on camera, but we do need you to come up to the microphone so we can hear you. So Rosie says, thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you for your question, Rosie. And anybody going once, going twice? Well, thank you again, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll try to do this again, maybe at our next Supper with the Superintendent next month at Hook. And is there anything else you'd like to add before you go?
I think that's it. Just that I really appreciate you inviting me, and I appreciate everyone's time. And if there are any questions, our team looks forward to answering all of those and getting your students started. So we really just want to get the students the support that they need, especially as we've seen in this last year with the pandemic and all of the students just with the learning loss or just the needs in general. So we're here to help and we're here to support the students.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Have a great night.
Well, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I will hand it back to Dr. Williams, and we're going to give you an opportunity both here and at home to ask whatever questions you may have. It's 7 o'clock right now, so we have a few more minutes. And I do want to give you folks the opportunity to ask some questions if you have them.
Yeah, here's a microphone here. So if you have any questions, feel free to come up and ask. I know it's kind of hard to ask a question when you're eating. Come on, here we got someone coming. We got a student. There we go.
I just wanted to ask a question. Do we know like the exact time, like when the lunches would be, like better lunches would be coming in, or like the fountains will like be replaced? Like, do we have like a specific date of time?
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know. I'll ask Mr. Hawkins to come up here and address the question.
So the question was for the audience. Oh, they heard the question.
Yeah, they heard.
Okay.
I hope so. Yeah.
So we're working on operationalizing or providing a better menu for students. So all I can say as soon as possible, we're working with our vendors on a regular basis to make sure that they deliver some of the commodities that we need. And what was the second question? Oh, the fountains, yeah. So as a matter of fact, I came to your site today and met with your principal, and I'm visited some other sites. So we are going to put that on the board agenda within the next board agenda, I believe. Yeah. It may be on this board agenda, but definitely if it's not on this one, by the next board agenda, and then it takes a period of time of them coming out and doing the work to install them. So realistically, it'd probably be up and operational, the new fountains, by January, so is the hope. Okay.
Awesome. I did get one online, kind of a little bit of a question, a little bit of a comment. I think it relates to general district questions as well as perhaps human resources. It says, more security at Adelanto High School, too many fights. And that is Anthony and/or Mrs. Razzo.
Okay.
So maybe Dr. Rubalcaba wants to speak a little bit on that one.
Yeah, so we are aware that district-wide, not just at Adelanto High School, we have experienced interesting behaviors, right? Because of a lot of people are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, whether it's losing a loved one to the pandemic, losing employment, just not being around other people for such a long period of time has created some behavioral challenges. And it's not only for the students, but also for the adults. You know, a lot of adults have expressed, feeling a little anxious and going through some tough times themselves. So the focus really is prevention. We are looking and exploring about the possibility of additional campus security across all of our schools. We have targeted specific schools that we feel need it most based on data, and we will continue to look at that for the whole district. But really the answer is really in prevention and establishing positive relationships. The things that are happening like this, and the community events like tomorrow, the Fall Festival, giving people opportunity to return to normalcy as much as possible is far more important than any punitive measures. The answer is not necessarily citing students and more police and coming down on them hard. It's really focusing on prevention, increasing our opportunities to connect, that good first-time instruction, and trying to return as to normalcy as much as possible. But we are looking at security district-wide and making sure that we address those fights and what have you.
Okay, thank you so much. Rosie Torres says, can children sign up for sports if they are not vaccinated?
Very good question.
Short answer is yes. Right now, there is not a mandate that requires everyone to be vaccinated. That is subject to change very soon. Right now, you can participate in sports as long as you are testing weekly to participate. And depending on the sport, you might be required to face cover, not face cover. So it depends sport by sport. But the short answer is yes, you can continue to participate in sports even if you're unvaccinated at this time. But that is subject to change.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this person asks, what is the procedure in notifying parents regarding safety issues on campus? Example, the presence of a gun.
Okay.
So it depends on each case. Okay, so in the event of an actual firearm, the school typically goes into a lockdown immediately. So if you have an actual firearm, police is involved, you go into lockdown. Usually we send out messages through whether it's a robocall or some type of a text app, or you might get a letter from a principal as an example, keeping you posted. This is what's happening. Here's what you need to do. In the event of a natural disaster, we have reunification processes and what have you in order to release students to the proper adult, to whether it's their parents or their caretaker. We are very well versed and have safety plans that are updated annually. We have a safety committee that's been established at the district, focusing not only on the pandemic, but what are some of the things that we can do to improve safety. And one of the most important things to really speak to the question is communication. So we have a brand new platform that we're currently rolling out called Catapult EMS, which is an emergency management system, which is a phone-based, tablet-based, desktop-based system that can communicate to multiple stakeholders instantaneously when we do have an event. So that is being rolled out district-wide. The training is actually happening this week for the safety team, and then we're going to push it out to all stakeholders so that everybody is in the loop when there are emergencies.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Now, do we have any questions from anyone here? Because looking at the online comments, I am not seeing any more at this time. Okay, Rosie says, I know every school district is different. When it comes to mandating COVID vaccines, when will the meeting be held for that? Well, I would say, first of all, it is a school-wide thing, and it's something that is going to happen pretty far in the future, is my understanding, and I may not have all the latest information on that. So let's have Dr. Rubalcaba speak about it.
Sure. So our district at this moment in time has not mandated it. There are some districts in the state of California that have, such as Los Angeles Unified, Oakland, Culver City, and the such. Our district has not. However, based on the governor's order, it is very likely that if the FDA approves the vaccine for students ages 5 and 11 or 12 and up, depending, because we are a secondary school district, it is very likely that either January 1st or July 1st of the following school year, it may be added to the list of required vaccines, and therefore will be a requirement in order to attend public schools, public and private schools. So we're waiting. Now, the CDC has authorized it to be utilized for ages 5, the Pfizer vaccine for ages 5 and up with parent consent, but the governor's order specifically specifies that if the FDA approves it, that the current or the following semester, it would take effect. So we're all kind of just watching and waiting to see, when that might happen. That will be communicated out to the entire community, to students, families, and staff. If that were to happen at this moment in time, it has not.
Right. Now, Dr. Rubalcaba, if I can just keep you up there for a minute. Now, we had heard when that mandate came down that it might be as early as January.
Yes.
But given that it's November 16th, does that seem, in your opinion, kind of unrealistic at this point? And we're looking at maybe July, maybe?
Not necessarily. The FDA advisory panel did unanimously vote to make a recommendation moving it forward in the process. So that can happen any day now. And if that were to happen any day now, we are looking at a January 1st implementation. So is it still possible? It is very possible. Is it more likely that it'll be July 1st? Probably, but I wouldn't rule out January 1st just yet.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rubalcaba. I don't see any other questions online, and I don't know if anyone wants to overcome their stage fright and just come up here and ask a question. Like I said, you don't have to be on camera. Just come up here to the microphone so we can hear you. That's all we need. Anybody else? We heard from one student. We heard from Susie. How about Helen? Do you have a question, Helen? Nope. Helen has no questions. We've explained everything sufficiently for Helen. Anyone else? Well, Dr. Williams, take it away.
Well, I want to thank all of you for attending this evening. It's been a pleasure to be here at Lakeview. It's always a pleasure to come to Lakeview and to, outstanding principal, outstanding assistant principal. And for those of you that may not know, your principal is a finalist for the National Association for Secondary Ed National Association of Secondary Ed Principals Association. So you guys, when you guys see her, please give her a great round of applause for it. And let's all give her a great round of applause, because I can tell you, for her to be a finalist for National NASS is outstanding. And so we're very, very proud. And I think just this past week, you were in, or was it 2 weeks ago, you were up in San Francisco. And so, you guys got some great things going on here. If you guys just continue to support them, I'm sure they will appreciate it very, very much. And with that, we will close this evening and thank all of you for hold on. Plus, we've got some food back here in the back, so to go. So if you could pick up something when you're leaving, we would appreciate it very much. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.